Nope.
My best friend Trina and I have been planning a dream trip to California for years now. But after spending the first night in Beverly Hills' newest and most luxurious hotel, I'm not sure we'll be around in the morning to actually enjoy the rest of our stay. You see, everything was great in the beginning. Of course, the plane ride was awful, and listening to a child cry for the next 5 hours during any flight would drive anyone crazy. But after we finally landed, it's safe to say the wait was definitely worth it. It's beautiful here, and I was hoping we would wake up early just to relax and walk around the city after a nice breakfast. But at the moment, it's currently 1 in the morning, and I'm doing my best to ignore the thing trying to get my attention by the window. We wanted a luxury experience on this vacation, so we put in the extra effort to save up and spend a couple of nights in one of the city's newest and most popular establishments, the Recreation Hotel. It was amazing when we got here, and the staff was so friendly, it's like we've known them for years. Nothing felt wrong, and if I had to bet on anything, never in a million years would I ever have imagined this place being so terrifying. Trina was the one who found the letter in the drawer of her nightstand. She laughed, thinking it was a weird prank left behind by the previous guest to spook whoever found it. Inside was a list of rules. And now I understand that whoever left this behind for us wasn't trying to be funny at all, but was rather giving us a chance to stay alive. It looks like I have some time at the moment, so I'll tell you what they are. Not only will it keep my mind off of things, but this will also be a warning to anyone who reads this, so that they know to never book a stay in this place. Rule number 1. After 11 p.m., make sure you turn off everything in your room. This includes cell phones or any sort of machine that makes noise you may have brought with you. They will use it to try and talk to you. Rule number 2. If you fail to complete the first rule, you might start hearing them call for you. Ignore it at all cost. Never respond to them, no matter what they tell you. Rule number 3. Make sure your curtains are closed the moment the sun goes down. Do not open them even if the noises from outside stop. They will also try to get your attention that way. Over time, they will grow bored, but no matter what, you keep the curtains closed. Rule number 4. At around midnight, it's possible a bellboy will knock on your door and ask if you ordered room service. You must ask him what he brought you. If he tells you the usual, don't open the door. If he tells you anything else, tell him to leave it by the door. Wait until he leaves before retrieving the dish. Never, by any means, look through the peephole to see him. Rule number 5. If you retrieve the dish, do not eat whatever is inside. Instead, dump all of it into the waste bin. Rule number 6. Like the bellboy, it's possible that the landline in your room will start ringing for you. If you don't hear it ring at all, then I'm happy to tell you you are free to relax for the rest of the night, so long as you continue to follow rules 1 through 4. I would also advise that you look for a new hotel first thing in the morning, because you absolutely never want to hear the phone ring during your stay here. Rule number 7. If you are unfortunate enough to hear the phone ring, pick it up. A woman will tell you to do 3 things. However, her requests may vary each time she calls, so I can't tell you what they'll be. But no matter what she tells you to do, those tasks have to be completed. If you fail any of them, she will come to you and complete them herself, but she won't be happy about it. Rule number 8. Absolutely never, ever leave your room unless you are instructed to do so. If you, under any other circumstances, break this rule, you will never be found. Rule number 9. Your bathroom light will come on at some point, and you'll hear the toilet flush and the sink start to run like someone is just finishing up their business. You must be in bed when this happens. Close your eyes and do not open them until you hear it leave your room. Make sure you also hear it shut the door. Rule number 10. You will hear someone outside your bedroom running up and down the halls. This is when you look through the peephole. If you see a little girl, do not open the door, and instead tell her that her mommy is worried about her and is waiting downstairs. If you see a little girl and a little boy running around, open the door and ask them nicely to play somewhere else. The little girl might ask you, "Do you want to play with us?" Tell her you'll play with her in the morning. Whatever you do, never tell her no. The little boy might tell you that they are lost and they need help finding their room. Kindly remind him that their mother is waiting for them downstairs. Only shut the door after they leave. Rule number 11. The phone will ring again, and you will be asked to do another set of tasks. Complete them once again to avoid her coming to do it for you. I promise you, it's best you don't meet her at all. Rule number 12. If the lights come on suddenly, you need to make your way into the bathroom. Look into the mirror and tell your reflection, "Now is not the time, maybe later." If the lights go out again, you're fine. If they don't, ask your reflection, "What time should we meet again?" If your reflection responds, thank it and only take your leave when the lights finally go out. Rule number 13. Pay attention to the next 2 steps because they will be the most difficult to follow. Your television will suddenly turn on at exactly 3:42 a.m. When this happens, you have exactly 5 seconds to hide. It doesn't matter where. Just hope and pray to dear God He does not find you. To increase your chances of survival, hold your breath for as long as you can. Don't worry too much. He's never around for long. When the TV turns off, wait another minute before coming out again. If you hear him laugh, he tricked you and you're too late. Your only chance then would be to scream as loud as you can and pray that someone knocks on your door and asks you if you're all right. If they do, you must open the door, but do not leave. Keep it open for the rest of the night. The only consequence to this is that you might see others peeking in once in a while. Never look at them for too long. If you do, they'll take it as an invitation to come in. And they're never friendly. Rule number 14. If you successfully avoid him, feel free to relax a little bit at this point. You are now free to watch TV and turn on any electric devices again. However, prepare yourself for an unexpected visitor. You will hear a knock at the door before 5 a.m. Answer it and act casual. Don't ever talk about what you're experiencing. That person will want to spend some time with you. Do whatever makes them happy. Depending on how you treat them, they might extend their visit and want to spend time with you for the rest of the night. If they do, continue to act normal, but make sure you never fall asleep when they are with you, no matter how tired you feel. If you do, you will not wake up. They might ask you to go out with them somewhere. This is the one thing you cannot do for them, and you must find something else for them to do without upsetting them. On the off chance that they ask you odd questions that might come out of nowhere, answer honestly. Rule number 15. When the sun starts to rise, you are safe to finally leave the room. Don't ever rely on the wall clock to tell you the time. It will try to deceive you. When you leave your room, do not attempt to leave the building unless you see someone at the front desk. An old lady will ask you to help her bring her things inside from the car. Don't listen to her. She will be stubborn, but by no means should you listen to a word she says. Rule number 17. If no one is at the front desk by the time you hear the grandfather clock in the lobby strike 7, immediately return to your room. You, unfortunately, might not have any other choice but to stay one more night. As you can see, I was stupid enough to ignore the first rule, and now every once in a while, I will get a phone call from an unknown number. I had to keep my phone on silent mode because of this. For some reason, I can't turn it off either. I'm assuming whatever it is doesn't want me to. They would leave voicemails for us, and Trina was the first to actually listen to one of them. She told me it sounded like her father, telling her how much he missed her, and asking her to call him back when she had the chance. Her father passed away 3 years ago. This, of course, freaked her out, and it only seemed to get a lot worse when the tapping on the window started up. As much as I wanted to pull the curtain back to reassure her that we were all right, possibly finding out it was just a loose tree branch or something making such a noise, a gut feeling told me to stay where I was. I told Trina this, and somehow managed to talk her out of looking behind the curtain as well. If we had not decided to go to bed early the moment we arrived, we probably would have been watching TV or listening to the radio. I'm so glad neither of us decided to do that. I can't imagine what we would have heard if we did, and I don't ever want to find out. It was around midnight when Trina decided she couldn't take it anymore. She had convinced herself that this little prank being pulled on us was going way too far. She was going to go down to the lobby and inform the front desk about what was going on. I tried to stop her, but this time nothing I said worked. It's been over an hour now, and she still has not come back. At the moment, the tapping on the window has died down, but now I hear whispering. It's very faint, but it's there. I'm on my bed typing this, and God, it's so hard to keep my hands from shaking. I have already had 5 missed calls and 3 different voicemails. And of course I delete them, but they keep making more. I really need to try and calm down. Maybe drink some water or something. I don't think the bellboy is coming, but I'll remember to keep you guys informed if anything else happens. Here is an update on my situation. It's just past 3 a.m., and I have exactly 24 minutes before I can expect the mystery guy to show up. I feel like I'm going to throw up. I'm so terrified. As soon as I posted my last message, the tapping thankfully stopped. The whispering was still there, but that too eventually went away. I'm still not going to open the curtain. I already broke one rule. I can't afford to see what happens if I break anything else. The phone unfortunately did ring. The woman on the other line had a rather deep voice. The first thing she told me to do was remove the clothing from my luggage and throw it all in the bathtub. She then told me to find the hotel's Bible and tear out all the pages located in John. I am a religious person. I grew up with a Christian mother and Catholic father. As strange as this may sound to some, this truly did hurt more than it probably would anyone else. But I refused to find out what she would do to me if I disobeyed. Lastly, she told me to open the mini fridge and remove all the beverages before placing them in a circle on the floor. Her requests were definitely strange, but nonetheless, I did them. In fact, I would have done a handstand while reciting the alphabet if she told me to, ridiculous as that sounds. I just wanted her to leave me alone. Hopefully the next time she calls, her request will be just as simple. The children did show up, both the boy and the girl. They looked around the ages of 7 and 8 and were both dressed in all white. She had very long black hair, but the boy had short blonde hair. They looked nothing alike. As predicted, she did ask me if I wanted to play with them, and I thankfully managed to tell her, with my best smile, that I would play with her in the morning. My voice was shaky, but she seemed to understand me. However, it did not stop there, and she continued to persist that I play with her. I never told her no. There was a point I did almost slip up, and I swear to you, her childish pout turned into the most disdainful scowl I have ever seen. Her eyes widened up a bit, and there was something about her that practically screamed danger if I didn't think fast enough. I don't exactly remember our conversation, but in the end I managed to convince her that I would play hide and seek with her after breakfast, and that seemed to please her. She bragged about being the best seeker for a bit, and finally thanked me before running off. The boy followed without a word, and the moment both of them rounded the corner, I quietly closed the door. I didn't even have time to fully turn around before the bathroom light flickered on. I tripped on one of the beverage cans while scrambling for the bed, which did something to my ankle, unfortunately. It still hurts like all get out. I even yelped in pain, but I managed to get back to the bed no sooner than I needed to. I closed my eyes before realizing I did not throw the covers over me, but the bathroom door was already creaking open, and the air immediately went cold. Whatever came out had extremely light footsteps. It sort of sounded like a small dog wandering around, but at the same time, It was quite obvious this thing would tower over me if I ever dared to stand beside it. I know this because whatever it was approached my bedside, and it loomed over me, close enough to feel a great amount of body heat. It never made a sound. I couldn't hear it breathe, and it never said a word, but I could feel the intensity of its gaze. My ankle was throbbing, and I bit my lip so hard that it drew blood. I don't know how long it was there, but I know I wasn't very quiet. I couldn't help but let out a few whimpers in both pain and fear. I'm still shaking from the experience, but I don't think it seemed to care, so long as I kept my eyes closed. It left at some point, but even after hearing the door close, I could not shake the feeling of it staring me down. I never felt so small and helpless in my entire life, and unfortunately, I'm still balled up in the fetal position on the bed, just how it left me. Guys, I don't know what to do. Again, some of you might not understand this, and it might sound silly, but I always believe that God is with you no matter what situation you're in. I don't feel that now. I feel completely and utterly alone. Has everything been a lie? Have I been following someone who never existed to begin with? Why would he ever put me through something like this? What did I ever do to deserve it? It's 3:37 a.m. I have 5 minutes left. God, help me. Save me. Trina has not come back yet. I miss her so much. But if what the list says is true, I'm never going to see her again. If you're still reading this, thank you for getting this far. If I do survive, I'm going to tell you what happens in the morning. Until then, thank you for reading what I have to say. My name is Christina Moores. Please tell my family I love them, and that I'm sorry I can't wish them all goodbye. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed Part 1 of the Halloween 2020 special. If you did, destroy that like button and leave a comment down below letting me know where you think the story is going to go. I'm betting, unless you read ahead, you're not going to guess because it gets wild. Shout out to the author of this story, Reddit user PinkFever19, aka She Talks A Lot 20 on Instagram. All the links to connect with this author can be found down below. As always, guys, I'm pumped for this special. It's a long one, but it's a good one. So, until next week when part 2 drops, remember to stay safe out there. I'll be seeing you in the next video.